The new Valorant map is finally here. It's the first underwater map ever released into the game, and it's easily one of the coolest looking too. But now that there are 8 maps, Riot has decided to remove Split from the map pool. So let's talk about it. Since Fracture came out in September of last year, we've all been waiting for Riot to give us something new. And it's not just because most of you think that Fracture is shit, but it's been 9 whole months at this point. The new map is called Pearl, and it honestly looks pretty dope. It's the first map set at night, and the entirety of it is enclosed in an underwater dome that gives off pretty big Atlantis vibes. Although there's no gimmick to the map, there are a lot of cool spots scattered throughout. There's a comic book shop, a store for scuba gear, and a football shop, which makes sense because the map is based in Portugal. Now, like I already said, the map looks cool, but how does it actually play? Well, luckily Liz and I were given the chance to play it yesterday on stream. I'm in so much danger, it's not even funny.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
You can actually jump over it.
Ooh, let's go.
Behind the stage wall. Just on the side.
One enemy remaining.
He's nice.
Oh, that finisher.
Okay.
Who's our favorite?
Finisher's so good. My initial thoughts are that it looks great, there are a lot of small choke points, and retaking sites sometimes feels difficult because there's so many angles to clear. Hopefully this feels a bit better as I play the map more though. I expect to see plenty of op battles in the corridor near B site, and over on A site there's a million little rat spots to hide in. As for mid, it feels pretty claustrophobic. Trying to take mid can sometimes feel difficult because you're exposed to at least 3 different angles at all times. One thing I do want to talk about is how Pearl will affect Valorant's esports scene. Having 8 maps in the game will have a massive impact on pro play. Right now we have 7 maps in the pool, so in a best of 5 situation, both teams get to ban a map, pick 2 maps, and then there's 1 left over as the 5th and final decider. So it makes sense that Riot needed to remove a map from the active pool, but the problem is, I think that they removed the wrong one. For whatever reason, they decided to remove Split. Now I know not everyone enjoyed Split, and in the early days of Valorant, we all pretty much agreed that it was a shit map. But after all the changes, I honestly didn't mind it. I would have much rather lost Bind instead. Riot claims that they spoke to many people, including pros, before making this decision, but I'm genuinely curious who the f they talked to, because every pro I've ever spoken to seems to hate Bind. Liz even made a don't at me a few months ago where she outlined all of the reasons that the community hates this godforsaken map. So if you're wondering what the whole fuss is about, then make sure to check out that video. I asked a proto yesterday about Riot's decision to remove Split, and here's what he had to say.
Oh, get Bind the f out of this map, man.
Yes.
Get it out.
I knew I liked you. I knew I liked you.
Get it out. There's no reason that should be a fucking map here. Like, Split, don't get me wrong, Split in ranked is one of the least enjoyable maps just because people, I don't know, it's ranked. And in competitive, it's one of my favorite maps. I think it's a really good map for competitive. So I was a little sad to hear that they're taking that map out first when you've got a map like Bind that no one fucking likes. And if someone likes Bind, they honestly might have something wrong with them.
Now, although I would have loved to never touch Bind again, Riot did give us some insight as to why they chose Split in particular.
Yeah, so in this particular swap, you know, if we're looking at just Pearl versus Split,
right?
They actually have a decent amount of similarities.
Okay,
so,
cool.
The mid plays somewhat similarly. It's kind of short range. You know, I guess Split mid is technically a mid. It's sort of the other way that you get into B site. But this has a similar kind of setup where there's kind of these 4 entry points to the space, and it's a little bit tight range. So yeah, we felt like this map, again, like compared to Split, had the most in common. And so subbing the 2 out made a lot of sense.
So I understand their reasoning when they say it like that. Why have 2 maps in the active map pool that play similarly? It just wouldn't make sense. Since I've only played 2 matches on Pearl at the time of writing this, I still have to find out for myself if it actually does feel similar. But just to give one quick TLDR for all of you, Split will be gone from competitive and unrated queues next week. There will be a Pearl only queue for 2 weeks, then on July 12th it will be added to the competitive pool. As for the pro scene, Pearl will be available starting with LCQ events in August, and Split will be removed from the map pool right after that, so we won't see it at Champions. All I know right now is that a lot of the community, including myself, just don't get it. Riot hinted that they might make changes to Split before bringing it back, but I still think that Bind needs the most work. Then there will be a 2-week-long Pearl queue. Split will be gone from the competitive unrated queues next week. Split will be gone from the competitive and unrated. Then there will be a 2-week-long Pearl only queue, and on July. But just to give one quick TLDR for all of you, what?